Good afternoon and welcome to Ethnic Corner. This afternoon we're going to show you some Polish cooking, and we have Valerie Diturbide here to help us and Lucia Lowoski. And they're going to help us make pierogi and krust, which is a little kind of a pastry. So Valerie, do you want to tell us a little bit about the pierogi?
Well, we prepare the dough, and here it is rolled out. I'll just show you how you roll it out. You just start from the center, keep going almost like you do a pie, and you keep rolling it until you got it nice and thin, about how you like it, 1/4 of an inch thick would be nice.
Okay, what did you put in the dough?
In the dough, there's so many ways that you can make the dough. You can put an egg in it, or you can just use the egg yolk. You can use milk, you can use water, substitute for milk. If you haven't got the milk, you can use just plain cold water. You can use a little bit of butter, or you can use a little bit of oil.
Oh, okay, so you just...
And the most important thing about the dough is the kneading. You make sure that you knead it well, so the dough wouldn't stick to the palm of your hands.
So it's a very simple dough.
That's right, it's
the
very,
eggs
very
and the
simple.
liquid,
Right.
knead it up, and then roll it out
That's
the way
right.
you have. Okay.
And now we'll show how it's cut. Now we have 2 glasses here. We have a little larger one and a small one, whichever you prefer. If you like to make them nice and big, you can use the larger glass. If you like them small, you make the small glass. And we have fillings here. We have 3 fillings. We have the meat, we have the potatoes and cheese, and we have the cabbage. And which we would love to have would be the cottage cheese, which is loved by all Poles, but we can't get it.
So I find it hard to
That's
get
right.
the same kind of greens.
We just cannot get
this
it.
is a main dish then? When you,
Well,
maybe when you start cutting them open.
Right, you can use it any time. I mean, dinner, supper, even lunch.
Okay.
And the beauty about pierogi, you can serve it almost as a dessert. You can use fillings at blueberry picking time. They're so delicious with blueberries.
Oh,
you
with
can
cream
use You can use your
Good.
favorite topping of whipped cream, or you can put strawberry juice over it, or anything you like. And then you can put prunes in them. You can put fresh plums. You can make them with sweet cottage cheese or just the plain cottage cheese. Or if you have your own special filling, you can put in.
Another thing you were mentioning before about the fillings, the Polish seem to have a lot of recipes.
Right, that's right. We have so many different kinds of fillings that you put in that you can use.
For crepes or...
Not only for pierogi, that's right. For when you make the crepes, you can put the cottage cheese again that we make with cottage cheese. You add a little bit of vanilla. You put an egg in it. You throw in a few raisins, and it's so good. And you spread it over your crepe and you roll it up. Or you can put meat of any kind, your special meat filling. Now we'll show you how we make the first. You roll your glass. Lucia will make some with the larger, and I'll make some with the smaller. Excuse me. You just take a little bit of flour and you put it aside so you have it for your glass. You dip your glass in the flour and you turn it.
cut them out.
That's right, and there you have them. Here they are here.
How many
And you
would you
make
make
quite
at one time?
Oh, you'd make about 4 dozen. Easy. And you just set them there. You cut out a few, and when you cut them, you just set them. That's right, now you try.
Oh, it's almost like a pizza dough.
Right, yeah.
Kind of a...
Like I say, blueberry time, when it's blueberry time, kids just love to go picking blueberries because they love them with the blueberries. And they're nourishing, very nourishing for you. Because you have the egg in the dough, and you have the meat filling, or you have the potatoes and cheese. Now I'll show you how you pinch them, which is the most important thing in making pierogi is the pinching. Make sure you pinch them well, because if you don't pinch them well, you know you'll have trouble. When you hit the boiling water, they'll all open up on you.
What are you doing now with the little circles?
Now you just spread them out a little bit. You get ready for your filling. And here's make some with the potato. You take your teaspoon and you put it in the center of and you fold it over. Make sure your fingers got a little bit of flour on, and pinch them very well. This is very important, is the pinching. Because if you don't pinch them well,
They'll fall
the
apart.
least little space that's there water will get in and you'll have nothing but all open pierogi floating in your water. So make sure you pinch them well there. So, there you have them.
How would you serve those? Would you serve 4 or 5 or 6
Oh,
or flankful?
no, you would serve for children, I'd say 6 to 8. For an adult, you could serve a dozen. And
Just
it's
keep
nothing.
eating until...
That's right. Yes.
So
Kind of
what-
of appetite.
That's right, a person's appetite, if you like more.
Okay.
And you can freeze them, they freeze well.
What would you have in this? You said this was cheese
This
and
is
potatoes.
cheese and potatoes. You boil your potatoes, and then you add your cheddar cheese. You mash it well. You add a little bit of butter in it, if you like. And just make sure that it's mashed well. That's the most important thing.
So mashed potatoes and
That's
cheese.
right.
And you can put the consistency,
That's
as much cheese or as much potatoes.
Well, you add the
you
cheese.
prefer.
It's what you prefer. Some people like more cheese in it. Some people like less.
And some spices like
And then, right,
black pepper
you could put a little bit of pepper in it, black pepper.
and salt, of course.
And yes.
And you said the second, that's cabbage.
No, she's making the meat.
With meat, yes.
And now here is the cabbage right here. I'll make a few now with the cabbage.
How would you prepare the cabbage?
The cabbage, you shred the cabbage well, and you fry it in some onion,
Well, you
some
don't boil
margarine.
it.
Oh
Just
no, you
fry
fry
the
it.
cabbage.
First you fry your onion well. You make it nice and golden brown. And when you got your onion nice and golden brown, then you shred your cabbage. You add it to the onion and the butter or margarine, whichever you prefer. And you cool it. Make sure your fillings are
I should
cool
try
before
it.
you use it, because that's important. You have to have your fillings cooled.
I'm going to try this and see what
Try,
happens.
sure.
So you're just going to fold it
That's
over.
right. First you spread your
Oh, first
circle
you
out
have
a
to
little bit,
spread.
right? And put it in the center. Flour your fingers so it won't stick.
It looks so easy, but it's not
The
that easy.
cabbage is a
No.
little harder, and you
picked a great one
bend
to
it.
do.
You might have put a little too much filling in it.
Okay.
Just fold it in half.
And fold it over.
Put the filling in the center,
So you basically
and
can
just
put
fold it like this. See, in half,
and pinch.
and just pinch it. Make sure that it's pinched well. That's important.
So what are we going to do with them now?
And then when they're boiled,
You boil them.
oh yes,
Yes.
This stage right into the...
right into that boiling
Okay.
water, and then when they're boiled, you could pour butter over if you like butter. You could just put just the plain melted butter, or like I have ready here, we have onion in butter, and we have nice golden brown. You fry the onion until it's nice and golden brown. Now we're ready to boil them. And we'll put them into the hot boiling water.
Is there anything in the water, Valerie?
Just a
Put
little, just
or-
salt, and you just salt it like you would potatoes or spaghetti. And you drop them in.
And hope they don't come apart.
And hope that they won't come
I
apart.
hope you're not
That's
putting
right.
any of the ones I made in. I'm sure they'll come apart.
Drop. You can put in quite a few of them
Okay.
and leave them boil.
How long now is this going to take for them?
Oh, I'd say 5 minutes. Until they come to the top. When you see them floating to the top, they're just about ready. There. And you give them a little stir so they won't stick together. Some people drop a little bit of oil into the water or a little bit of margarine. If you like, you can do it.
So they don't stick.
That's right. But you can use the spoon, to stir them so they won't stick together. And once they start coming to the top, they're ready to be taken out.
What are you going to put on them now? I know you have something in this pot.
What we have here is onion with butter.
Okay.
And you chop your onion very fine and you fry it until it's a nice golden brown, like that.
Really fried up.
Yeah, and when it's a nice golden brown, make sure it's a nice golden brown.
You pour it over.
And you pour it over your pierogi, or you can just melt plain butter and pour the plain butter over them. They're just as nice.
Okay. Lucia, do you always use the onion, or do you put sour cream?
Oh, you could use sour
Yes,
cream.
sour
Yes,
cream, yes.
you can have sour cream. Some, if you prefer. Some people like it with sour cream.
Oh, there's some. Can we take them out now? That they're-
No,
No,
not
not yet, dear. They have to
yet.
come right
Not
to the
ready.
top. Oh yes, you can put sour cream on them.
What if, now you were talking about, that would be serving them hot.
Mhm.
Can you let them cool? And then, do you ever eat them cold?
No,
Well,
not
no,
really.
they're not really. They're not as tasty cold.
Yes.
So
to
what?
heat them
Some people do,
again.
after, when they have them a day or so, they fry them on butter. They're
So
good
you
too.
wouldn't
And
just
this way they are even better.
fry.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Next day.
You don't put them back in the water to heat them
No,
up.
no.
Yes.
You fry them in the frying pan with a little bit of butter and for them to come to the top.
Seems to be the meat ones or the cheese one seems to cook more quickly.
It's lighter.
The filling is lighter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Takes a little longer.
I know a lot of people, the Polish community here sells the pierogi. And it
Oh yes,
seems to
they
be
have tea.
a big
They have
favorite.
sales and
Yes.
they sell them. And they go off really big.
Yeah, just like we'd sell homemade cookies,
That's
it's really
right.
big.
Yeah.
But when you sell them now, do you cook them before you?
Oh yes. Yeah, we
They're
cook
broiled.
them and we butter them and we put them in little baggies. You bag them.
And
And
you
we
buy
sell.
it.
That's right. They're ready to sell.
If you were in Poland, could you buy pierogies in the store?
No.
No, you still make them at home.
Yes.
So if you can't buy frozen pizza like we would here, you don't
No,
buy
not
frozen
really.
pierogies. Yeah. So you're going to leave them in the boiling water. That looks like quite a big boil, like
Yeah, the hard boil.
hard boil.
Are we ready now?
Are they
on
ready?
TV?
Yeah, to take out?
Yes, they're ready to take out. Drain them well, or else you'll have water in your dish. So make sure you drain them. There. Now
Now we
Lucia
can- yes,
is
now we
gonna,
can
she's
pour.
gonna pour the onion over them
Uh-huh.
in the
And that's
butter.
the
She'll
brown.
pour
very
over.
And you just
That's
serve
they're
them
ready
in
to serve.
Yes.
Right?
When they hot.
When they're hot, that's when they're delicious. There we have it. I think that's the last. There you are.
Smells
And
good.
then we're going to pour some butter, just plain butter over that, Lucia.
Yeah.
And when you put it in, you shake your bowl well so they're well covered. And give it a good shake. And there. You are.
They look good.
Then if you like
And
sour
the
cream,
sour
you
cream.
can dip them with the butter into the sour cream.
Yes.
And they're ready to serve. Would you like to sample one?
Okay, now that we've finished our pierogi, Lucia, you're going to show us how to make kruste.
Yes.
Okay, what's the first thing? You have some eggs and some sour cream.
Yes, and some kind of mixture. And vanilla and sour cream and eggs.
And you're going to beat it up?
Yes, little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's just sour cream, about a tablespoon.
Yes, 1 tablespoon sour cream and 1 tablespoon sugar.
And
And
vanilla.
teaspoon vanilla and 4 eggs.
It's a very
1
light
whole egg,
pastry.
4 egg yolks. Yes, and I will mix.
So you pour that
Yes.
into the flour. About how much flour? Just
Cup and a half.
so this is a pastry or a
Yes.
dough that you're
Yes,
Very light pastry.
very light pastry. Yes.
Okay.
So I'll show and
Looks like you do it very gently.
And the secret in that also is in the kneading. You have to knead that.
Yes.
And not,
After you get it
very,
mixed.
very well.
If this is going to be a dessert or
yes,
a
this is dessert.
cookie sort of.
No,
Cookie,
it's like
some
a
kind
cookie.
of yes,
It's a cookie.
very flaky cookie.
And you can use it anytime or for Christmas or
Anytime.
Okay.
Yes. So I made at home dough already.
She has the dough prepared.
Oh, I see. So you keep mixing that,
You
Yes.
knead that. You keep kneading it until you get a nice light dough.
and
Yes.
this is what you get.
That's what it turns out to.
Oh, it is. It's very
Yes.
dainty.
Very soft.
Now, how many kruste would that make?
Oh, plenty, maybe
Yeah.
5-6 dozen.
You have to roll it out very, very fine.
So that's there's no yeast in that dough.
No, no.
But there's some, you make a sourdough bread or at Easter.
Oh,
doughs that
there's
you
so
use.
many different kinds of sweet doughs that we make, and the different fillings that we put in it. There's curds, cottage cheese or
The same
curds,
cottage
yes,
cheese
and
again.
raisins and apples and poppy seed.
So I will cut in half. It will be easier to roll.
So you're going to roll
A little bit sprinkle.
the poppy seed. That's, I always think when I think of Polish with the little, of using poppy seeds.
Yes.
But it's not the seeds that you use. It's, you grind it up. and
Grind it
use
up
a
very, very
liquid.
fine, and we make a paste into a paste. And you put an egg yolk into it, or eggs, and a little bit of vanilla and sugar and honey. And
Put it on the top or inside?
no, you put it inside and you make it into a filling. Then there's the poppy seed cake where you just use the seeds. But you have to soak them overnight well.
Before you
Yes,
process.
before you put it into your cake.
I know that some people like Lucia was telling me you mix the poppy seed with honey and
Yes,
make it.
and
That's
butter.
right, yes. Then we have the chocolate torte, which is so delicious. We have our strudels made with apple fillings and raisins, and with cottage cheese and raisins, with walnuts. Then we have our Easter babka, what we call it.
Would that be made?
That's a bread. It's a sweet bread. They make at Easter time, and then they make a plain one
At any time.
at Easter too.
That's
to roll.
quite thin.
Oh,
Very
very,
thin.
very thin. It has to be
Thin.
rolled out very fine, very, very thin.
Did you have to keep the dough in the fridge, or should it be
Oh
cold?
yes. No, not really. But if
let
you
it
want to make,
Sit ahead of time.
yes.
Keep it. Okay. Keep spreading it over. Notice it's not too sticky a dough, so.
No.
You find ingredients for the different things that sometimes you'll have problems getting ingredients here as opposed to what you're used to.
That's right. It is very hard, especially the cottage cheese. You cannot get it here.
Or poppy seed.
Or poppy seed. You can't. It's very hard to get.
So I
One
think
time the
it's
supermarkets used to
thin enough.
carry it, but now they don't anymore.
Okay, you're going to cut it into strips or?
Yes, the strips.
Here's another knife.
Maybe 1 centimeter wide.
Use a smaller knife if that's the
Now I
Now
will
what we-
separate. It will be easier this way. Now I will cut like this.
And you always cut them diagonally like that? That's just your style.
Yes. And
You make a split in the center and you just fold them through.
yes.
Just like this. You just take it, make the split, and you put it,
Oh, you fold it
Twist.
through
a little
the
twist,
hole
and
in the middle.
there it is.
Mhm.
Oh.
It's very easy.
Can you do
Very
one
easy.
slowly?
Yeah.
It doesn't look easy to me. You put a hole in,
Yes.
You make a little slit in the center,
And
just fold it through.
push it through.
That's right.
So it looks like sort of like a little noodle, but it's not. It's a
It's
kind of little
it's a
bread
light pastry.
pastry.
Yes.
Cut them in the middle.
Excuse me. So you make a slit in the center.
And
Just put it through
Somewhere longer.
so
there.
it's very dainty work. Yeah. You're going to poke it
Poke it through the center. Pull it through.
and
That's right. There you are.
Now they're ready for
Now
fry.
they're ready for
you're going to
Lucia
fry
to
them.
fry them.
Okay, Lucia, you're going to put those dainty little things in
Yes.
the fat.
And fry, yes.
Okay. Do you need it hotter? Doesn't seem.
She's
What
gonna
kind
fry
of?
them.
That's
This is
shortened
shortening.
or you could use mazola oil. I
Yes,
suppose any
okay.
kind
Yes,
of oil.
any kind
fat.
of fat, yes.
Peanut oil, anything.
But as long as it's nice and hot.
That's
Yes.
right. You make sure that your fat is really hot.
And they'll just, they come right to the top?
To the
Yes.
top, yes.
Okay, just like a donut. You were,
That's right. Like we were saying, we have what we call the pączki. It's a Polish donut, and you fry it in deep fat, and you put different fillings in it, favorite jelly or jam in it, and they're really
so it's
good.
not a donut with a hole in it. It's
No.
stuffed.
No, you
Stuffed.
have to put stuff inside.
Or you
Oh.
can have it just plain, and then when you take them out, you put a little bit of cinnamon and sugar over them, or the icing sugar, whichever you prefer.
They really become large.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't expect that at all.
You pour, when they're ready, you pour some icing sugar over them.
Could you put some flavoring in that icing sugar, or
Yes, vanilla.
Vanilla flavoring.
or you were even saying they have a vanilla sugar
Sugar in
Yes.
Poland.
that
They have
they
this.
put on it. And into that dough, could you put vanilla, like any kind of a flavoring, maybe a liqueur or
Yes, any kind of
rum or anything
flavor.
you
Yes,
wanted
you can put. Yes.
Vodka.
vodka into the dough, right
Yes.
into
Yes.
the dough. With the look, that's soft. Now, how do you know when they're done?
Oh, until golden brown.
Oh, okay. I wondered, they looked so small, I wondered why you were making them small. The large ones become almost too big, really.
Something
Yeah.
like this.
They twist in different forms and shapes.
How could you freeze these, or do you
Oh,
have to-
yes,
oh,
you can
yes.
freeze them like cookies.
Yeah. So you would eat them cool. You wouldn't eat them hot.
No,
You
they are better
should.
when they.
They
Cool.
become cold. Yeah. Oh, they're getting brown now.
Yes.
So I suppose the longer you work the dough, the more
The
fluffy.
nicer and lighter
Yes,
they
nicer,
come.
lighter.
Okay. Well, Valerie, you brought some other sweets that you have made.
Well,
Want
here
to
is
tell us what?
here is the sweet here, like I was telling you before, Stephanie, that we use fillings, different fillings in. Right here is a pastry made with cottage cheese and raisins. And here is another filling with the crushed walnuts, a little bit of raisin, and some jam. Whatever you want, you can put into the filling.
Into the filling. So what is they called? It's just.
It's just a
cookie,
plain
yeah.
Polish roll. That you make it like a jelly roll and you roll it up.
And you could put poppy seeds in that.
Oh
too.
yes.
And the Christians do.
Someday, yes.
Then you put a little bit of icing sugar over them.
Mm.
And here for you.
Switch.
Sprinkle them with icing sugar.
And I suppose you do that while they're still hot. so
Yes,
that-
the icing sugar sticks to them well.
Oh, that doesn't take long once.
No. When it's hot, very hot. Only when it's very fast. Ready?
And you'd make those anytime too.
Anytime.
They're not-
And sprinkle. And these that are ready, we put them here.
Oh, they
Sprinkle
look
more.
nice. Oh, would you ever put any, like a honey or anything on the top? It's mostly a sugar
Oh,
or anything you want.
mostly sugar.
It's
yes,
mostly the
yes.
icing sugar that you put over these.
Yes.
Drop these into fry.
And those would be ready to serve with your pierogies.
Yes.
Very fast.
They fry fast. There. You have to turn them because they fry very fast. Very easy to make
Yes.
and quick.
And they look so complicated and dainty, as
Yes.
if you spent,
Yes.
but the dough
That's
takes a
right.
long
It's just
time
the
to
dough
work.
or kneading,
dough.
which is the most important part of making them, is the kneading. You can make them to any size you want. If you prefer small ones, you can make them small or large.
So that was basically just
That was it.
eggs,
Eggs.
4 eggs,
Yes.
a cup and a half of flour, tablespoon vanilla, and a tablespoon
And
of
sour cream.
sour cream. And then this meat is
Yes, and
the
some
meat.
flavor.
And flavor, but as you said before. Thank you very much, Valerie and Lucia, for coming and helping us today and showing some Polish dishes.
Thank you for having us.
It really sticks.
Hello, it's really nice to be back in Ethnic Corner again. I'm Elizabeth Planetta from the Beaton Institute, and the ladies we're going to talk with this afternoon, Mrs. Valerie Diturbide and Mrs. Lucia Lowoski. How did I do, Lucia?
Yes, well.
We've just finished a cooking show, and it was fascinating and delicious, and my tummy is very full. And there are a few questions that came to mind as I was looking at the cooking show. And to sort of understand the way in which you relate to your culture through your cooking, you have to realize your history. Both of you have different ethnic histories, so to speak. Valerie, for instance, when did your family come to Cape Breton?
My parents came to Cape Breton. My mother was just a child, about 12 years old. She came here with my grandparents. It's quite a long, I'd say about 60 years ago.
And this is from Poland?
This is from Krakow, Poland.
Really? You know the place that they came from? Did they tell you much about where they came from?
Oh yes, as we were growing up, my parents spoke a lot about their homeland.
Right?
Yes.
So your mother would remember?
Yes,
12
very
years
well.
old. Right. And how about you, Lucia? When did you come?
Yes, I came 15 years ago. We came from Gdańsk, and this is big city.
Right, yes. Both of these names are very familiar to us all now,
Yes.
especially with what's happening. Did you, when you knew that you were going to be on this cooking show, did you have any feelings about, oh, she's going to cook differently from me because it's been so many years between? Did you feel that, Valerie?
No, I didn't.
Did you felt pretty confident that you would
great
have
at
the
home
same?
with her.
Right, yeah. How about you?
Yes, the same. We still have the same style and the same menu.
One would think that she would have brought with her her grandparents' recipes and methods and so on, and you would have developed through the years. So it's quite interesting that the two have remained quite a lot the same. What about buying things? Have you found this to be quite different? Are there certain, you mentioned cottage cheese, which is
Right.
difficult to find here.
Yes.
Is that quite easy to find in Poland?
Oh yes, very easy. Maybe not now, but
No.
before
Yeah.
it was very easy to find.
And people were
Oh yes, they use
felt very
cottage
good
cheese.
about using it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that comes to mind, I know both of you personally, and I think, you know, what happens in your home? You're living in Canada, you have these Polish foods, and Valerie has an especially interesting situation. Her husband is Italian, isn't he?
French.
French. So what influence has he had on your cooking, or you on his eating habits?
Well, he is a French Canadian, born here. He got adjusted to the Polish food very well, and he enjoys them.
Mm-hmm. What about you? Have you switched to any French Canadian food?
Well, some, yes.
Such as
Such as the meat pies I make.
right, yeah. And Lucia, your husband would perhaps feel maybe more conservative than you. Do you find that you would perhaps want to get more into fast foods, maybe? And he's
Yes, well,
more
now
anxious to stay
someday,
with you.
yes, when I am very busy
Right.
in the go, I like to have
How does he
faster
feel
food.
about that? Would he prefer to stay with the traditional Polish foods?
Yes, I find it's very good food, and
Mm-hmm.
we like it.
Mm-hmm. And does he express any of these feelings?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he's very
he
emphatic that
yes,
Poland has good food.
yes.
Do you find that men are more conservative than women in this regard?
Oh, depend of, yes.
Yeah, I suppose
Some.
each person is different. Now, with your situation, I would gather that the leaning has been toward Polish.
It's true.
Would that be because you do all the cooking?
That's right.
Does your husband do any at all? Does he?
No.
He doesn't. What about your husband?
No, my husband.
Really?
too.
Well, both
Doesn't
are
cook.
traditional in that way as well. And your children, Both of you have grown children. Did you mentioned during the show that they all love the Polish food. Was there a period in which they wanted to be more with the gang and not have the Polish food, or was it?
Not really.
No.
No.
They
No.
stayed with this.
That's right.
Yeah. How old are your children, Valerie?
My children, I have a son in university, 24. I have a daughter, 21. And I have another son, 16.
3. And you also have 3?
I got 2.
2.
Yes. Girl, 22, and boy, 14.
Do you see them carrying on the tradition
Yes.
in the
like
foods?
some food, yes.
Yeah. Which and do you see that, or do you see that the Canadian, by the Canadian I mean mainstream Canadian, sort of taking over?
Well, my son is in university now, and he makes pierogi at
Does
the
he?
college for his friends.
Really?
Yes, and they love it.
That's really interesting.
And when he comes home, that's the first thing he asks for is Polish food.
Right? Does he refer to it as Polish food? Does it have a Polish
No, when
impact?
he comes home, is what he says, some of your good Polish food, Mom, some of your good cooking.
Really? Yeah. This has an impact, I'd say, on the community then, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yes.
The activities in the church, fundraising and that sort of thing, and the feeling that you're drawing your family and the community together, doesn't it? You know,
Right.
It has
Right.
that. Lucia, I'm very sort of curious about how you've adjusted to Canadian life. Now, you said before you came on the show you were embarrassed about your English. Do you find this is a problem? Do people make you feel that
No,
that
not
your English
really.
is
They
not
not
good?
make me feel no.
Why do you
Only-
suppose you feel that? Because I understand you very well.
Yes, because maybe I like to speak better than I speak, so that's make me embarrassed sometimes.
It does make you embarrassed then.
Yes.
Are there times when you are more embarrassed? Being in front of a TV camera would be a time perhaps. But would going to the Polish church, for instance, would that be a time where you could just say, okay, I'll speak Polish when I want, I have my Polish friends there? Is that something that you feel?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
How does your husband feel about that?
Oh,
Do you think
he like to speak Polish.
Yeah.
Of course, it's easier for us to speak, but still, we speak English. We try to learn better English.
You try to speak English
Yes.
as much as you can, just for
Yes.
the practice of it?
Yes, for practice.
Well, how about you, Valerie? What sort of, you must have grown up speaking Polish.
Yes, I did.
Did you find there were any pressures on you to learn to speak English so that you...
No, none at all.
None at all.
We spoke Polish home, and when we went to play with the other kids, well, caught on easy.
You caught on
with
to
the
English.
Right.
Did anybody ever make fun of you because you spoke Polish?
No.
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 That's... So you
It
found
wasn't
that...
hard for us to learn English.
And you must have been aware that there were many people in your area who
Because
spoke another
yes,
language.
where we lived in the community where there was mostly Polish people.
Right, yeah. And just down the way there'd be Ukrainians.
That's
and
right,
Italians
and
so
a
on.
few neighbors of Ukrainian.
Right, yeah. Well, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show and chatting with about our lives and our language and that sort of thing. And I want to thank you very much, Valerie and Lucia.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you so much.